Okay, so I'm going to lead you through a little crash course on how to process a deep space image. So, as you can see here, there's really not much going on. However, this is actually a fully stacked image of the Running Man Nebula. So, we are going to go into Colors, Levels, and we are going to stretch the hell out of this image. Just like this. We keep doing this until we actually see something. Back and forth we go between light and dark. Soon we'll start pulling something out of this area. And we keep going. As long as our curve here doesn't fall apart, we go. It's getting a little better. You can see a little nebulosity now. Unfortunately, excuse me, unfortunately these subs should have been a little longer, I think. Okay. Just barely make them out there. Keep going. We're almost there. Starting to lose it a little bit, but it's still not bad. One more stretch here, I think. Let's see. And there you can see him a little bit better. Okay. Excuse me, maybe do just one more. Finish up with the other side. So just a little. Okay, and now we have our first stretch, and you can barely see the faint outline of the Running Man. So I am going to go into curves. I'm going to give it a slight S-curve to boost the contrast a little. See him start to pop a little now. Oh yeah. Gonna okay that. Excuse me. Now we don't need the rest of this image, so what we're going to do is we're going to crop this. And the question is always, how do we want to crop this? Well, something like that perhaps. That looks decent. So we're going to go with that. At least initially here. I'm going to enlarge that a little so we can see what we're doing here. Fit image in window. At this point, and I probably should have done this before now, I'm actually going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to rename this layer let's see. Stretched and cropped. From here, what we want to do is we want to go back into curves. Just want to see what happens if we open it up a little. All right, we're going to leave that alone for the time being. I'm going to use this particular time here to actually go into filters, enhance, and go to wavelet denoise. And we're going to get rid of a lot of this noise. What looks like old school film grain. Just by adding a little denoising. That looks pretty good to me. Grainy, smooth. Okay, smooth it out. And there it is, smoothed out. Okay, so the next thing we do here is we go back into colors, we open up curves. Now we play with the color channels and color balance this. So red, take a little of this red out. We don't want to add this green though in here. So we want to be pretty even-handed about this. So I'm going to do right about there. Green, right. I take this green out. See, it's looking better already. More of the green out. If I take more out, it's going to get red, so I don't really want to do that. I'm going to do that right about there, I think. Okay, it looks pretty good to me. What we're going to do next is go into the last channel, the blue channel, and we're going to go the other way with that. What we want to do here is we want to take this, we want to boost up the blue. You can see it right there. Make it pop. That looks pretty good for this initial time. So preview, preview off, preview on, off, on. I don't want that quite so high there. Bring it down a little bit. That looks good to me. So, much better. Okay, that. Go back into levels. I'm going to do a second stretch here. See, this curve is getting a little messy now, but that's okay. We're going to bring this in. That should pop the background out. Be too much. Do that. Cut into there a little bit. Okay, that. Go back into curves. Just play with this a little to see what this looks like. So if you put a severe curve in, you could see it it washes out, but you could see the Running Man at different stages of contrast here. Or nothing at all. Okay, so if we put in another curve here, it's interesting. It's overstretched a little. Flatten that out like that. Like that. This might be a little more than I want it to be. Excuse me, I don't know. That looks pretty good to me. So, yeah. That's what I'm thinking right there. Now, doing those corrections, this looks a little, I don't know, it looks a little magenta to me. This curve is getting, histogram is getting a little weird, but okay. So anyway, we're going to go into curves again, and we're going to play with these channels one more time to rebalance this color. Oh yeah. Too much. Actually, excuse me, before I do this, I'm going to go into colors again, and I'm going to go into saturation. And I'm going to pop up this saturation a little bit to see what this looks like. More. All right. Now I'm going to fix this color. It's saturated, but I want to back off on that. So these colors have to be adjusted a little bit. So again, go into red, little red curve down. The green curve. Finally, the blue again. It's going to go up. Actually, that's interesting. Needs to go down a little bit here. Okay. So, preview again. Preview on. Preview off. Preview on. Let's zoom in here a little bit. Super noisy, so I'm going to denoise again. Interesting. I think that just fixed the histogram too. Okay, so fill window. That looks pretty interesting, actually. All right, so if I go back into levels, this is a very interesting histogram with lots of drop data here and there. We're going to bring this in just to set a true black point right there. Bring this in a little, set a true highlight point. And at this point, what we can do is go to filters, go into G'MIC. You're going to take this details. Actually, I really like to use a lot of the time constrain sharpen. It's usually a very subtle. You can't even see any difference here. I'm going to apply that just as a finishing touch and see what happens here. Take a look at our, excuse me, image properties. Yeah, 2.6 gigabytes in memory. Okay, well, this looks pretty good to me. I don't really know what more I would do with this. I'm going to view it to fit in the window. Go back into curves maybe one more time and just see what happens if I lay in another S-curve. Does that add anything or no? I don't know if that adds anything. There's a little contrast here. Maybe a little more subtle. That. I don't know, this is the kind of thing you can go back and forth with all day. I think I am going to go with that little S-curve there. It's very subtle. Flatten that out just a tad. Yeah, I think that's good. So there you have it. That's about as good as I can get with this version of the Running Man Nebula anyway. So going to File, Export As. I'll call this Final A, TIFF, Export. It's making a really nice TIFF. Final copy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Export again. And I'm going to export it as a PNG, which will be the web version. That. Boost the compression up to 9. Take its time and compress it really nicely. There you have it. And that is that.